to Fierce, Fun, Feminine, and Other F Words. I'm Christine Elizabeth, and I help women unstuck themselves. Today's F word is Facebook, and I was hesitant to even put that as a title because if I saw that as a podcast title, I'd probably pass it right by. Fierce, Fun, Feminine women don't rely on Facebook, and that's what I want to talk about today. Let's get started. I need to make a correction before we get rolling because I've already recorded the episode and I misspoke and called a documentary by the wrong name. A Netflix documentary by the name The Social Dilemma is what I'm talking about. I call it something else, like The Social Experiment. I'm not sure what I called it, but if you're like me and you hear someone say the wrong name, it gets you tripped up and you can't concentrate. So now you know when I refer to that documentary on Netflix, it's The Social Dilemma. Okay, now let's get started. Oh, Facebook. It's a love-hate relationship for me. How about for you? Can you relate to that? You know, when I first joined Facebook, it was a long time ago, probably 2008, 2009, something like that. It did not look anything like what it looks like today. It has changed. And I have had to set some boundaries around Facebook because it sucks you in a way that's not healthy. It's not empowering. It's not doing anything for your life. And if you want to be a fierce, fun, feminine woman, you're going to have to set some boundaries around social media in all different ways, but Facebook especially because it's turned ugly. Would you agree? It's not the happy sharing puppies and pictures of your kids' place that it used to be. Even when you remove people or hide them, Facebook finds ways to show you posts of ads and different things. And I'm a business owner and I get a little sneak peek into what that looks like with the Facebook analytics. I can target ads to, people that are Android users versus iPhone users and females that live within a certain radius of a city and females that have interest in eyelashes. I can get it down to that specific of a target audience. That's Facebook for you. And if you're not aware of that, that's why you see all of these ads. Your phone is listening, your phone is watching all of your online behaviors. Well, Facebook is one of them, and they are a conglomerate, a huge powerhouse in the online digital world right now. And I want to give you a little backstory before I get into why I think that platform is not the best place for a woman to develop her best fierce self. It's a platform we can surely use, but it's not where you want to go for all of your best tips for living, unless you're really specific on how you use it. So if you don't know, Facebook was founded in 2004. Now, we already know it's Mark Zuckerberg. It wasn't just him, though. He was at Harvard University, and it was called The Facebook, and he developed it with 4 other students, but you only hear his name right now. It was his other 3 roommates. So Facebook's 17 years old at the time of this recording in 2021. It was initially just for Harvard students, and then they branched out. They included other Ivy League schools. Then it was so popular, they branched out to other schools, and by 2006, in 2 short years of when that was created, everyone that had an email address could join. We would all have to agree Zuckerberg and his roommates were brilliant. The platform is brilliant. The original reason for the platform, brilliant. Connection. People want connection. And he created kind of this we used to have private chat rooms, right? Way back. Do you remember AOL? I'm dating myself here, but there was a time where you could go in chat rooms and they were private little rooms with people that had things in common. They would talk about it, but they couldn't see each other. It was just online live chat. He created something that was magnificent, right? It really is. If this was your son, you would be very proud. He created the largest social media platform in the world. I give him all props for that. There is a little known fact about Mark Zuckerberg that many people don't know, and I'm going to share it not for any reason except to give you a little trivia. So before he created Facebook, there wasn't a big gap between this little trivia and Facebook. He created something called Face Mash. Have you heard of it? Like Monster Mash, except it's Face Mash. It was a who is hotter platform. So he would take Harvard girls and put them side by side and have people vote on them. The problem with Face Mash was He hacked into Harvard's database and student registries and stole the photos without the girls' permission. And then he got a little too tipsy one night and he had a blog. And on his blog, you can look all of this up online, by the way. Search Zuckerberg and FaceMash and you can read all about it. In his blog, I'm going to rephrase what he said. He's like, some of these students are so, this is horrible. Some of these female students are so ugly. I'm going to put them next to farm animals and you can vote on which one's hotter. No joke. He had like 22,000 people active or 22,000 votes, one or the other, the day he wrote that platform, the day he put it up. Well, Harvard caught wind, obviously. If your daughter or you were the person that was involved in FaceMash, I mean, you were going to get that sucker taken down, right? He faced expulsion. He did not get it. He did not have to. He got out of it somehow, but he was charged with copyright infringement. He was charged with theft because he stole information from Harvard to create it. And then all of the atrocities that these poor girls were put up. You know, I know that we see stuff like that in media. We see like who wore it better, and I'll put two celebrities together wearing a dress, right? Well, guess what? Everybody's body shape is different, so they both wore it great. You might have a preference for what one looks like more than the other, but do we need to vote? I mean, really? So that's a little bit of what Zuckerberg was in college. I mean, that's a mean streak, if you ask me. Now, college boys definitely have conversations like, oh, she's not as pretty as she is. But to put something up online, to put a girl side by side with another girl, and have people subjectively vote on who they think is prettier, college age, when eating disorders become prevalent, when they're just stepping into, they're a young adulthood, trying to figure out, get on their feet. It was said by Zuckerberg, he was called in and of course had all kinds of hearings for this thing. He said it was just a prank. And it was brought up in Washington, D.C., again, for something. He's in Washington, D.C. for all kinds of stuff because Facebook is a mess right now. And that was brought up. Didn't you create, is it true or not true that you created this thing called FaceMash? And he said it was a prank. He minimizes it. And yes, I have done so many things in my younger years that were stupid, but I had a boundary. I had some boundaries, and I'm not going to make judgment on whether my boundaries were better than his, but that's pretty harsh, doing something like that. But that's the, what do you want to call it? The foundation or how Facebook that we know today was born. It was from FaceMash. And he's like, I'm going to take this same technology and I'm going to create this. Pretty interesting. So I joined Facebook in 2009. It is nowhere near what it is now. And that's what I want to talk about today, because what it is now is not connection. It can be, but you have to be so specific in how you use it. Old Facebook was just where you shared limited ads, right? You just shared pictures of your family. You saw people that you haven't seen in a long time because it was new. So you connected with people when, you're my age, when Facebook was newer in 2008, it was only 3 years old or so, right? 4 years old. We were like, wow, I haven't seen you since high school. It's been years and all of that, so Facebook has a special place in my life for that because I connected with old friends I hadn't seen, right? Now we have people that have grown up with it. It doesn't have that anymore. It doesn't have that same effect or that same appeal. But back then, limited ads. I don't even remember if I saw very many ads. No meme culture whatsoever. Memes. I could go off on memes right now, but I'll go to that later. If somebody had a political rant, it was not full of venom. Somehow back then we still had digital respect. You could share. I don't even remember tons of politics. I remember when President Obama was running and there were comments made, right? And, it was a big deal. First Black U.S. president, all of this, so I remember that being a theme in my Facebook feed, but the venom wasn't like it is now. We could agree to disagree. We could part ways respectfully. We didn't have the level of trolling that we have now. It's just now is ugly. So I don't know, if you know that you can unfollow people without unfriending them. And if you don't know that little trick, I hope if you're a podcast user, you're tech savvy enough, you already know that, right? You can go on somebody's page and hit unfollow, but you still keep them as a friend. So you don't hurt anybody's feelings. But, I have had to do that. I don't have time to do it in my entire friends list, though. But I have. If somebody's a repeat offender, oh my gosh, we can all say COVID-19 and the January 6th U.S. Capitol riots, my Facebook feed was just garbage. It didn't feel good to be on it. It was just people pointing fingers and your opinion and your opinion and your opinion. And you're wrong. No, I'm right. And I don't want any of that. Where's that going to take my life? It doesn't feel good to do that. So if there's a repeat offender there, I hit unfollow. And it's not a bad thing because this is your time, your choice of how you want to use the platform. And if you want to be a better person and you're listening to a podcast that's all about getting unstuck and improving your life, I'm hoping that you are going to choose to use Facebook in a way that helps move the needle forward in your life, builds social connection, removes all that other crap, right? We don't need all of that stuff. But I don't have time to do all of my friends on my friends list. I don't have that kind of time. I guess I could try to set, it would take hours, who I want to follow or unfollow. So I've limited my time on Facebook. And, I don't know if your phone and your laptop do this, but it gives me every week, I get a weekly report of how I used my phone, my screen time. Right. And so it gives you your screen health. During lockdown and COVID-19, I was really proud of myself. I got myself down to 15 minutes a day. Pretty amazing, huh? That was on my phone, 15 minutes a day. And I was reading. I was working on projects in my house. I was watching YouTube videos to learn about different, I launched a business online toward the end of 2020. So I was learning all about how to be an online influencer and all of that. I had no idea how to do a podcast. I'm doing this whole thing by myself. I had no idea. I read about, how do you find a host and what microphone do you use and all of those things. I was doing that kind of stuff in 2020. I was not mindlessly scrolling social media. You can't if you want to move the needle in your life. Social media can be a form of entertainment. Facebook can be a form of entertainment. It can. Like somebody goes to a movie and they spend 2 hours in a movie theater watching a movie. That's entertainment. Or they go to a casino and they gamble for an hour. That's entertainment. If you need to just check out and be on a social media platform for an hour or 2 hours for entertainment, no judgment. I just want to make sure that you are not getting sucked into things that don't bring you joy. And I can't say Facebook really does. Now, if you get joy in bickering and fake news, and I'm saying fake news because it's fake book. I'm not saying I'm not calling all news fake news, but now with meme culture, we have found out that people created videos and memes during our last US election that looked real and legitimate that weren't. They're so savvy, tech savvy to edit. They can make it look like you said something that you never said because they can string your words together. And all kinds of things like that. The clickbait headlines, the arguing, do you vaccinate or not vaccinate, all of that stuff. If that brings you joy and it makes you feel better, if it elevates you as a person, that would be maybe educational or entertainment. But if it gets you where your cortisol spikes at all because you get mad, not good. Cortisol is like, it helps fight or flight. It makes you angry. It spikes when you get upset, right? You don't want that. That's not part of health. That's not part of moving forward. So yes, use social media or Facebook in that way if you want to use it for entertainment. But if you are spending countless minutes on it, and getting sucked into some of the negativity on it, that's what I'm here to challenge you on. Hit the unfollow button. You don't have to unfriend them. They don't even know you unfollow them. They have no idea. And you can start to curate the feed that you see. What you can't curate is the ads. So I want to share this with you. I hate the ads too. And I understand why people are like, oh, these ads. So I'm a business owner who has a Facebook business page. I have 2 Facebook business pages. What happened with Facebook, why you're getting ads? Back when it first was created, years ago, When you created a business page, you had business followers. But if you notice, you don't see those accounts anymore. You don't see all their posts anymore. Facebook changed the algorithm on business owners and business pages and said, well, if people interact with your stuff, we'll show it to them in their newsfeed, but we're going to show it on a less % basis. And then what happens is they'll throw a notification up on my phone and I'll say, this post could reach 95% more people if you pay. So they forced businesses into paying for advertising by not showing their basic posts. It could even be like, hey, we're going to be closed for the July 4th weekend. They won't show that post. They want businesses to buy advertising to get in front of their followers. Of course, it gets in front of other people too, because usually it's by a demographic of where you live or demographic of what products you use or something like that. You see that ad because you land in some certain demographic that advertiser wants to reach. That's why you see so many ads. So I can't get upset over seeing ads in Facebook because Facebook forced businesses to do it, and that's how they're making money. Their goal is to keep you on the platform. They don't care if you waste all day on their platform. That's what they want because they want to get you in front of their advertisers. If their advertisers are getting success, if you're clicking on that ad and they can get you to make a purchase, that's a successful ad for them. And if their advertisers are happy, Facebook is happy because they'll keep coming back. I know for a fact there are certain, because I've been in masterminds and webinars and business classes for online influencers, there are online influencers that spend upwards, are you ready for this number? Upwards of $50,000 per month in Facebook advertising. Can you even wrap your head around that? I'll say that again. $50,000 per month, right? And they'll run it for like 6 months. They'll run these ads. They are not going to do that if it's not successful, right? So somebody's clicking and buying, and it's not on Facebook to get the people to click and buy. It's on Facebook to get that ad in front of you. So Facebook has turned into a little bit of a bummer when it comes to business, but I get it. I understand why they're doing it. Where I find problems with Facebook is the users, the people that are on there, and the just the negativity. It's just become a place that's not so much fun anymore. So hopefully it doesn't offend you, but it is true. It is. It's not a place of authenticity and fun and lightheartedness. It's not helping you move the needle in your life unless you specifically follow people that can help you move the needle in your life. Okay, so here's another thing about Facebook I want to share. You may not be aware of. I was not. I was this naive person that just believed we were all on here sharing photos. True story. It's a blonde moment. I'll give you that. Okay, I'm going to tell you that ahead of time. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. To my detriment, I've had to learn the hard way that I trust too easy. But Facebook is also rampant with creating marital problems, affairs, digital affairs, real affairs, all kinds of stuff. And I got to experience this firsthand in multiple ways, but one was, I know 2 specific people on my friends list. They post photos of their husband. I love him. He's so great. Best husband in the world, all of these things. And it's a little close-up selfie, and they're out to dinner and all of this stuff. And I thought, wow, they have such a fantastic marriage. It's so cool to see this marriage, right? Saw these people offline in the real world, girls' night, ranting, the same person ranting about her spouse, off on like some tangent of, oh my gosh, sex is terrible. I can't stand being with him. I'm not attracted to him. I need to find a sidekick. And like literally on the hunt. That same person went into Facebook and Facebook Messenger and messaged other men. Some of them were married. She hit it up. This is initiated by women more than men, by the way. I don't get messages from men. I have messages from men, but they're not married men posting photos with their wife and then hitting me up in my Facebook Messenger. That doesn't happen to me. Does it happen to you? I don't invite it. Maybe that's what it is. This person didn't care, had no boundaries whatsoever, because to her, it was just all about her happiness, her personal happiness. But Fakebook was all about her fake happy marriage. It's rampant. I had no idea until I got in marriage counseling. If you followed this podcast for any length of time, you know I hit pause on a toxic marriage, started going into counseling, and I was given a book to read. It's called If You're in My Office, It's Already Too Late, A Divorce Lawyer's Guide to Staying Together. Read it. Seriously, whether you're married or not, I've given this book to couples that are engaged. It's a laugh out loud book, but it's also a serious book. The author of the book is James Sexton, Sexton. Every married couple should read it. If You're in My Office, It's Already Too Late. That's the title of the book. Outstanding. I have copies that I just give to people because I just read this book like 4 years ago. I had no idea. And he's a Manhattan attorney. In the state of New York, it's not a no-fault state. Like you can get in trouble for infidelity, right? And when I say in trouble, when you're in a divorce, if there's infidelity, you're gonna pay through the nose in your divorce. I live in Seattle, so Washington State is a no-fault state. You could be a murderer, you could steal, you could be having anything going on in your personal life. The judge doesn't care. You're going to get split 50-50, right? So it doesn't matter in that state. But this author comes from a point of reference from New York. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the whole book applies to you, whether you're engaged, about to be engaged, or you're married. And his number one thing, he says, get off Facebook or have a shared account with shared passwords. Years and years and years of divorce work that he does, Facebook is the culprit. That's just what it is. He said it's a blatant culprit. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but even if messages are deleted in Facebook, you know once something's online, it's always online. You can go back. They can subpoena your records if you live in a state that's not no fault for 90 days. If it's 90 days old or younger, so 90 days ago, they can go back even if it's deleted and pull that information. It's still on the servers. You have to be careful how you use Facebook. And I was so naive. I saw pictures and I believed them. I thought, wow, they have a great marriage, happy family. And I know things are airbrushed. People's bodies don't look as great as they appear. Their skin might not look as great as it appears. I had no idea people would have so much guts to put a picture up and then go off and have affairs on the side, like put a picture of a happy family and then be so deceptive. If that's you, okay, this is tough love. You need to speak your truth. Stop posting pictures that aren't true. Just stop that. Stop hitting up other wives' husbands. If you're going to go off and do your thing, but don't go messing up someone else's family. He's never going to bust up his family for you. Promise. Doesn't happen, okay? But you need to really take a hard look at what you're doing if this is your behavior. Why? Why do you want the world to know that you're happy when you're really not? Who does that benefit? That's a fake life. Living true to self, speaking your truth, living your truth, you can't believe the freedom that comes with that. I lived in a marriage that I didn't plaster pictures of my husband and I all over Facebook before I separated from him. I didn't. But people didn't know my truth. When I moved out and I started speaking my truth and I explained, it's hard. We're just going through some hard times. Liberating. Sharing my truth with him instead of making him feel like I was happy when I wasn't. Liberating. You get one life, sister. One. Why are you going to let fear and procrastination keep you stagnant? Why are you going to allow Facebook to be this fake place of happiness, or any social media for that matter? Stop. Okay, tough love over. Just had to get that off of there. You got to get that book. It is so good. It's called, again, If You're in My Office, It's Already Too Late, A Divorce Lawyer's Guide to Staying Together. Author's name is James Sexton. Here's my other thing about Facebook. Have you seen The Social Network, a Netflix movie? If you haven't, that's my next thing I want to talk about. I'm going to end with that. I already knew a lot of what they were talking about, but I didn't know. So if you have not seen it, you're going to go, oh, I already know social media is a mess, but you don't know. What it does is they go into bringing the founders, the early founders of Pinterest, the early founders of Facebook, Instagram, all of that, and they talk about their meetings they would have of how can we keep our users on the platform longer? What can we do? They already know that you get an endorphin hit every time you have a like. If you put up a picture and you get a like, you get a release, an endorphin release. It's validation. They want you to have that. That's what keeps you hooked. They don't care that you're hooked. Their job is to keep you hooked. They don't care about your health, your mental health, any of that. That's not their responsibility. It's yours. And to some degree, I agree with that. Maker of beer and wine, to make sure the person that produces it, it's not their job to make sure you're not an alcoholic. It's yours, right? Same thing with social media. Same thing with Facebook. So go watch The Social Network if you haven't seen it. It is well worth it. It will really help you feel, I guess, more empowered in making decisions and how you use social media. I want you to use Facebook in a way that helps you grow. I want you to use Facebook in a way that moves the needle in your life. And social connection with friends and family is part of the health wheel, right? That what keeps us healthy. We need that. We need to stay connected, but you don't need all that other negativity that comes along with it. Right now, this week in the news, as I'm recording this podcast, Facebook is under fire for sex trafficking, for being a platform where sex traffickers are meeting young people and grooming them, meeting them, and pulling them into their grip. I don't believe for a minute Zuckerberg had any idea how big this platform was going to get and how dangerous it could become. I don't think so. Now he's got this monster on his hands. It's up to us to be educated, monitor our kids when they use it, and monitor ourselves. My kids had Facebook as soon as they were old enough to have it, but I had their passwords. That is your right. You're their parent. If they want to get on Facebook when they're 13, okay. Even Messenger for kids, like I know they have it, I would say no. Let them be kids. My kids played outside, right? So I didn't have digital addicted kids. If you do, I would have hard, firm rules about that, right? But when they finally get their profile, keep their password. And they don't get to change it. If they change it without your permission, you lose your privilege of having this social media platform. The reason is I watched this happen with my daughter. She's cute, right? All kinds of people want to be her friend that she didn't know. That wasn't going to happen. I had to use that time to educate them. This is not the place for kids and strangers to connect. It's just not. It's not safe for you. And I explained why it wasn't safe. I had their passwords almost all the way through high school because Facebook was a way at that time for them. I mean, I had their phones too, so I could see all their conversations in spot checks, almost like a random drug test, right? Hey, give me your phone. So they didn't have time to swipe it, delete it, all the stuff. Well, when you're a parent, your job is to be a parent, not their friend. And for Facebook, that's the same thing. It is not a safe place. They're getting called out for being a platform that helps sex traffickers find kids. Facebook is a brilliant, genius concept, but you need to use it in a way that's going to improve your life, move the needle in your life, help you have connections that are healthy, make you feel good, and healthy for your kids. Most kids don't want Facebook really, honestly, anymore. They go to TikTok, and I get it. I'm on TikTok right now. That platform is a trip. It's new for me. I'm still learning it, but oh my goodness, it's not ugly. You don't have people fighting. It's just short short filmed videos, the most time that you have to get someone's attention on video is like 3 to 5 seconds, 7-second videos. And they're just hilarious. It's all it is entertainment. You don't interact with people unless you want to. You just can hit like if you want to. It's just a very fun break from something like Facebook. So I get why TikTok is growing. It makes sense. That's where your kids want to be. You still have to monitor that as well, though, because there are predators on every platform. For you, I hope this topic was something that you can just self-examine your life. How are you using Facebook? Is it improving your life in any way? How can you set boundaries around Facebook? Be on it less, use it for entertainment, curate your feed so you only see what you want to see. How are you going to safeguard your marriage with Facebook accounts? How are you going to know that your marriage is not having an outsider come in trying to get sneaky? And if it's you trying to be sneaky, when are you going to get real? And how are you going to maintain your kids' safety when they get on that platform? Because it is a time to really self-reflect on this whole digital world. It's a time to really take inventory of how we're using it and is it making us healthy? Because right now, we have a lot of people unhealthy, living on social media, not living, not getting out in the world and living. They're hiding. We want to get off of that. We want to get out there and live. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. And this is for my older listeners that are maybe my age, because I got on Facebook when it was relatively new. And I had the stars in my eyes, like, this is amazing. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in 30 years or whatever, right? Don't put the future in jeopardy just to indulge in some frivolous nostalgia. The negatives far outweigh the positives. It can be dangerous if you're married and you use social media and you connect with people that make you feel a certain way. You don't know what that person's life is on the other side. And even if it's nostalgia from your childhood or your college years or whatever, be careful to protect what you have in the present. Feed what you have in the present. Don't entertain the idea that something is better just because it looks better, because you can't trust it online at all. That is my message for you today. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. I truly want to see you grow. I want to know that your life is better because of little nuggets that I share here. And you know a lot of this stuff. I'm sure you didn't hear it for the first time, but if you could have taken anything and moved the needle forward, set some boundaries, do something to make your life improve, that's what my goal is. I just want to thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe so that you're alerted to when the next episode is released. And in the meantime, have a fierce, fun, feminine, and fabulous day.